Man, it has been a while since we've talked about a straightforward book. So I figured, why not talk about something with dragons because dragons are awesome. But this leads to a kind of double edged sword in terms of books because dragons are awesome. Doesn't mean that every book with dragons in them is awesome. I like to say that this one, in fact, The Summer Dragon, is awesome. Before I want to talk about the book, I want to talk about the writer, Todd Lockwood. Now, this is the first book in his Evertide series, but he's better known as an illustrator despite the fact he has two other previous books. He's done artwork for World of Warcraft, D&D, otherwise known as Dungeons and Dragons, as well as done artwork for Magic the Gathering, as well as a good number of book covers. And you can see all this on his own personal website, just by the by, you don't have to plug that out there. That's just something I wanted to make note of because it's pretty cool. This guy's an illustrator and he's still able to be a really good writer. It's a pretty rare combination, if you ask me, depending on what you're looking at. I just wanted to make a note of that, concerning the fact that I do like the artwork I've seen from this guy so far on his own website. But I guess that's enough stalling for now. So let's get into this book in particular. This book takes place in a world where dragons are commonplace. Essentially, they're like more dangerous horses as people are able to ride them and raise them, breed them, and all that stuff. Our main character is Maya and her family as they raise dragons in their hatchery for the political war machine because, they're in the middle of a war against an evil empire. As time goes on, Maya wants her own dragon to add to their stable so they can have more breeding pairs. But as the needs of the war increase, her hopes become less and less likely to be fulfilled, as it seems that whatever dragon she picks is going to be stuck in the war machine as well. However, one day she accidentally spots the Summer Dragon, a mystical high dragon that represents change. However, no one ever said change was a good thing, with various people having their own interpretations about what the sighting means, whether it means the war will get worse, whether it means Maya's curse, whether it means this or that, as well as her own personal desires. Everything is coming to clash. Everything is coming to head to clash with each other, and Maya will have to make her choice about what she wants to do with her life. Maya's tale is quite a good one. Obviously, it's one of those growing up and maturing tales. Also about finding yourself and all that noise. Stuff that you always find in teenage fiction, or at least fiction around teenage characters. And Maya herself is pretty much really relatable. She's strung along in all these different directions from what her family wants, from what society wants, and what she herself wants. It's relatable to see that in a character, even though it's pretty typical to find that every so often. And yeah, she does eventually break a few taboos here and there in order to get what she wants, or at least what she believes is for the greater good. Because, that's what kind of happens in all of these stories. A character breaks one ancient secret taboo of religion or something in order to do something for the greater good. In this case, it involves dragons as well as the seals that they put on dragons to kind of bind them to people. It's a bit of a minor plot point. At least that's a minor overall plot point. It's a very deep character plot point. So yeah, that gets done. Obviously, this is the first book in a series, and it feels like a first book in a series, as there is one pretty large plot hole, namely stuff about the war as that comes to a head towards the end of the book, that never gets really wrapped up, as well as some maybe ancient evil shit going down. We're not really sure because stuff still needs to be wrapped up. One thing I will applaud is that most of the character plot lines are pretty essentially wrapped up, or at least wrapped up for this point in time. Maya understands what she has to do. She has her dragon by the end of the book. Her brother, he kind of gets his own little plot line about his own insecurities. Her father gets his own little plot line about his fatherhood and what it means to that, as well. Her brother and her stepsister, all of them get their own little plot lines, and all of them go pretty well and get pretty wrapped up towards the end. Even the religious guy who shows up to be an asshole gets his own little plot line and gets wrapped up as well. Something I like to applaud in books like this is, very often first books I like to leave a lot of plot threads dangling around, like character plot lines and whatnot, but I do like to applaud the fact that most of the character plots are almost essentially wrapped up by the end of the book, which I do think is a good thing. Now, I do want to bring up about how dragons are treated in this series, as Basically, every writer has their own way of treating dragons. Some of them treat them as animalistic beings or just like deadlier animals, as others like to put this high mystical importance on them, where they're essentially on par with or exceeding humans. This series does both. Dragons are indeed animals, but have the ability to understand human speech and speak their own language. On top of that, there are some dragons that are considered godlike, such as again the summer dragon, as well as one that's the point of the major religion of the land. The best comparison I think could be to this is how Pokemon treats the Pokemon, and I'm not just saying that to add a Pokemon reference to this episode. It feels very much like that, especially once the dragons start talking and then they use their own words for things, and it's kind of cute, sort of like singing Pokemon talk. I also want to bring up that the book does have illustrations on various pages to show off the characters, various dragons, those various important moments throughout the entire book, so you can get a little detail here and there about certain things. It's a pretty small thing, but I honestly have to admit I do love books that do something like this, have like little minor illustrations that show off more of the characters and whatnot. It's just something I enjoy. Overall, this is a good read. I honestly think this might be the start of a new good series, and I honestly can't wait to see what the second book in this series holds, even though I'm pretty sure about 1 to 2 years out from actually seeing that second book come to fruition. Either way, The Summer Dragon is a pretty good read, and I highly recommend it. See you next time, everybody.